This is part 2 of my review series on solo traveling with Tracee Ellis Ross. I apparently am showing up in YouTube search. Thank you guys who have been looking at all of the YouTubers who have been covering the series. If you have not watched it, you can find it on Roku. It is 3 episodes. Tracee went to Australia, Switzerland, and Thailand. Before we get into the review, I want to go over some of the comments. I clip my own videos, just to promote and get the content out there. Let's see what some of the people said. We got to keep in mind that she's a celebrity. She is solo traveling essentially, but the way she travels is going to look very different than the way us regular citizens travel. I enjoyed the series. I think the most meaningful parts was when she was reflecting on loneliness, joy, and the emotions that come with traveling solo and being alone. The first one, it was Morocco. I think she was in Spain. I can't remember the other one. I like Tracee, but the show left something to be desired. So thank you guys for y'all's comments. I am glad that I am able to review this with you. Let's go ahead and hop in. As I said, she went to 3 destinations. The first one was Melbourne, Australia. I did like watching it because this is a country I've never been to. And I was very interested to see if she had made changes and what she was going to be doing. The episodes, I do feel as if they were too long. Each one's about 45 minutes. I watched it on double speed again. I don't really watch travel content anymore. It's not interesting to me because it's a review. I can't just be skipping around. I have to go all the way through. So it was on double speed. She still's doing a lot in her home of the packing. Her motto is BIA, bring it all. Maybe she read some reviews because I don't know if it was for Thailand. I don't know how long that trip was. She only had 2 suitcases. So, that is consolidating for her. When she went to Switzerland, it was 7 suitcases because, it's winter and all of that. That's way too much, y'all. I think the packing was ridiculous. She's also very meticulous in her suitcases. She was laying out tissue paper so she could separate the light clothes from the dark clothes. I've never seen that before. Things she did in Melbourne. I can't remember how long she was there. She got a massage. That's nice to do right after a flight. You're kind of foggy, have the jet lag. She went shopping. The surfing, it was fun watching her try on the things, and she did not go far out in the water. I'd be the same, y'all. Y'all not about to see me surf out to sea? Let me just do this coastline and get some nice pics. And she did the wine tasting. That's something that I am interested in as well. I'm glad she addressed while I was watching. I was like, where are the Black people? I am thinking about a series where it's like a Black person, myself in white spaces. So I can relate to her in that sense. I think of when I went to Eastern Europe. It was very cold. I did Hungary, Bulgaria. I did, what was the other place? Prague. It was somewhere else. I was one of the few Black people, if there were any. Y'all, this time she has a glam fridge, a hair body glam fridge, so that she can promote her pattern products. But I did like how she was able to, manipulate and style her hair throughout each destination. For me, I would just have a wig. I would just have one major braided style, but it was cool to see. And of course, she's doing it to promote the brand. This time she was doing full-on commercials, but I liked to see her in her natural hair with the cornrows. That was cool. I do want to mention that in Melbourne, she was able to go to the fashion exhibit. They had it open for her after hours. That was relatable because I've done the same thing. It wasn't just for me. It wasn't private, but when I went to the Met in New York, you know what theme I'm talking about? Hold on. Dandyism. Once the Met happens, those clothing items, those pieces will still be there for some time. And it was called Superfine, Tailoring Black Style. We're talking about dandyism. I loved going there and traveling to New York to see that. I wouldn't say that Tracee is a foodie. The commentary that she was making, Maureen said this too, with the head chef, it wasn't food detailed. She would be like, oh, this is amazing. This is fantastic. This is delicious. I was like, I need more details about, the food, the plating, everything, the ambiance of the restaurant. These head chefs are coming out to meet you at your table and you're just saying these basic responses. She's not giving foodie to me. Even in Switzerland, all she was talking about was the cheese. I love the cheese and chocolate. Yeah, okay, but what else? Give me more. I need some more. And that was Australia. I don't have much to say. Moving on, I do want to give a shout out to the production team, the editors. I think the background music is fire. It's great for vlogs. I love the text on screen. Maureen was saying that she needs to be reading the information of each place to us. But I mean, I think it depends on the viewer. Even Maureen's trying to start a travel show just like Tracee. So I mean, imitation is flattery, and she's gonna see that people are gonna criticize her. Like, you are not better. I feel like all travelers are gonna have something unique, some unfair advantages to them that will make viewers, want to see them. And I mean, Tracee's quirky. I can relate to that. Sometimes I'll say things, I'm trying to be humorous or funny. The joke doesn't land. Like, how have I acquired this group of people who are subscribing to my channel? Sometimes I give off weird Kelly Stamps vibes. Shout out Black YouTuber OG. Now, Switzerland, I liked it because I've been there before. I just think it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. You have the snow, you have the chocolate, you have the cheese. And I really liked her angle of storytelling. YouTube is all about giving us a story. We are learning more about you. And, she was able to connect with pieces from her childhood. Obviously, her mother is Diana Ross, and this is where she went to school for some time. I think she said in 1986. I was 5 years old back then. In 86. It's a nice eye-opener into the lives of the rich and famous. She was in Stade, Switzerland. They were able to give her the private tour of the campus. She was able to go into the hallway, I guess, where her dorm was. She was very emotional, crying in the dorm. That's not something I've ever done. When I went to my college reunion, I went back to my wing. We were on the honors wing, but I wasn't crying. I was like, oh yeah, I was trying to remember which door I was at and, what had changed. But, traveling, it's going to invoke different emotions in people. Things that she did, I would have liked to see more of Zurich, Geneva, but she was only in Stade, and that was because that was her story. She had the lymphatic drainage massage. That was nice. She visited her old school. I liked that she was packing pops of color because she wanted to show out in the snow. I thought that was tastefully done. And I liked seeing her put on and try on the ski gear. I've never been skiing before. This is something that is on my bucket list. Would it be in Switzerland? I don't know. Maybe Montreal. Just somewhere where I can look cute and take pics. Y'all, if I get on some skis, what if I go off the mountain? Like, that's not really my vibe. When you're in cold temperatures like that, after you're doing rigorous activity like skiing, relaxing in the sauna, drinking hot chocolate, there is no better feeling. I like that she was able to go to a winter-only restaurant. That sounded pretty interesting. Again, she wasn't giving us details about the food. I'm vegetarian, so I'm looking for very specific things. Other notes I put for Switzerland, I also liked how they would show the map. We would see her itinerary, not like of things to do, but just the different cities that she would travel to within the country. That is great when you're watching vlogs. Again, I'm not a vlogger, but I just like to see how the editing is done. How could you say anything negative about that show? Well, let's talk about Maureen Callahan. I feel like she is a hater. But I know that her channel, she does review a lot of celebrities. Her video, it just popped out 2 days ago. Sometimes I want to get ahead of the trend, but when I saw that people were searching this topic, I'm like, okay, I just finished my 100 video. Let me go ahead, and that means I also have to watch. The homework is to watch the videos. So she titles it, Tracee Ellis Ross leaves her hotel room in the new season of solo traveling. I feel the same way. Maureen said her production team, Tracee, they looked and listened to the reviews. What I was saying in my first video, I felt like the packing scenes were too long. They cut that down. She says in one of the videos, she basically was in the room the whole time. Like, she didn't show us any activities. This one is, I wouldn't say jam-packed, but there's more things to do. All right, some of the comments. She is so weird that she thinks she is comedic. She just comes off so cringe. I don't know how Maureen was able to get her clips of the show cleared. Like, to this day, I don't have any copyright violations on my channel. Do y'all know about this? Like, clipping an actual show, it just released a few weeks ago, and putting it in the video. I don't know, y'all. I'm not trying to get copyright. What a waste of the education and advantages she has had. Tracee's behavior is emblematic of the present perpetration of childishness into adulthood. They're not holding back in Maureen's comments. People who think they are whimsical are always insufferable. Man, y'all going in. These celebrities are insufferable. Insufferable is the word that I'm hearing. Just another uneducated adult child, which goes into my comments. I told y'all I don't get that many comments on YouTube. I reviewed it. Somebody on TikTok said the changing room scene was way too long and unnecessary. Agree about the low-key pattern ad. I do solo traveling, and she just stole our identity, but rich. A rich lady child. Lastly, she went to Thailand. I think she was in Chiang Rai. I might be saying that wrong. And she was in northern Thailand because she was visiting. She didn't visit the Golden Triangle, but that's the area of Thailand where she was with the bordering countries. Laos, is it Malaysia? I might be saying that wrong. I love Southeast Asia. The food is amazing. The things to do are incredible, and it is very affordable. She walked with the elephants. It was nice to see that she visited an elephant sanctuary. I had a similar experience with Tracee in that I didn't bathe the elephants. We were supposed to just be out there with them. I gave the elephant kind of a hug. I felt so bad. You can see the elephant's spine, that it was broken because, these lame tourists have been riding them in the past. Now that they are housed in the elephant sanctuary, even in her series, they were mentioning that they can live 70, 80 years old. The guide, he told us, if you want to scratch them, they love to scratch their backs on the trees. And if you're close to them, the thing is, elephants, they can't see you on the sides. Like if you're looking them straight at the eye, and they can sense if you're animal lover, they can sense fear and all of these things. And I scratched them behind the ear. The ears were flapping. That was kind of cool. They are gentle giants. I love connecting with animals. Tracee, she was emotional. I was just like, yo, I don't want to be trampled. Okay, we out here in the wild. I did it in Cambodia. She did it in Thailand. Oh yeah, I did feed the elephants bananas. And I'll be like, they were so hungry. And then if they want more, they're like nudging you with their trunk. I was like, you know what? This elephant is a little hungry. I can't stand when influencers are using these animals to benefit themselves just for their photo. You know what I'm talking about, where they're sitting on the horse and the horse has to buck and jump up so they can get that shot of the horse in the air. And that's all the horse does all day? No, that's not how the horse was designed. And I've even made that mistake myself of swimming with dolphins. Like, we're really not supposed to be interacting with those animals. They're not supposed to be confined like that. Even when people are walking with lions and tigers, are these animals sedated? It's tourism. So of course the guide's going to say, oh no, it's completely fine. These animals are trained well. Then why are we bothering them? But again, I mean, that goes for me too, because we were at the sanctuary. We had to wait for the elephants to come to us. And I was like, are they even going to come? And then some people would bathe them. They would interact with them. And I do believe it was a sanctuary in Cambodia. Shout out to the guy. I'll put his information up here. I had it on Instagram. They're gentle, but they can snap in a second too. So I kind of stay out their way. This was where I was able to see her do the cooking class. That was cool. I like tofu pad thai. It's great. She made some other type of salad. That's something I would like to do. I think a window into a country can always be experienced by the food. It's very important. For Thailand, I really liked how she had some cool mosquito repellent. It was like a sticker on the back of her shirt. She also had mosquito repellent socks. That's something that I have never seen before and would like to try, because I be getting eaten up when I am in some of those regions of the world where, they tear me up, y'all. So I need to look into those products. I love Thailand. I will watch anybody who is traveling there for the most part, because it's giving White Lotus. Sometimes if you style your hair and go out in a place that is very tropical, it is going to poof up and look fluffy because you are experiencing the humidity. That's why I was like, why are you doing your hair? And you know the weather is like this, but she got to put in those pattern products. I'm wondering how much it costs a night at these places. Obviously, she is a celebrity. The G-Stad Palace Hotel, and I'm going to mention Anantara, Thailand, because I was able to eat breakfast there. I was at the Anantara when I saw that on Tracee's shirt. I was like, wait a minute, this is bringing back some memories. I was at the sister hotel in Bangkok, Avani Riverside. And it had recently opened a couple years prior. I believe I was there 2017, 2018. And they were just promoting it. They wanted people to come stay at the hotel. So they were giving me vouchers. If you sit and listen to a presentation, I got a free massage. I went to their spa. They gave me a nice treat. It was my birthday. This is when I was living in China. So the flight was very cheap to get there. I went there with a backpack. Here's how I travel with a personal item here. It was really nice. They were saying that you can walk. They have a bridge that connects you to the sister hotel, the luxury resort on Antara. And at that time, I was able to eat the breakfast free over there. And I mean, I was piling it up. I was like, I'm getting all these tropical fruits. You know, they had waffles for a vegetarian breakfast as a first meal. It's kind of important to me. I really liked what she was doing in Thailand. It did not seem like she was there long. Southeast Asia, it's just so lush, green, and beautiful. She is a tree hugger, a tree lover. Again, she's very quirky. Sometimes the things she'll say will be odd. I know in the restaurant she was eating the food. She was like, "This is so great. I wish I could put it all on my face." And I was like, huh? What does that mean? So I thought that was hilarious. And just sometimes the way that she'll interact with the people there, I don't know, Tracee. But again, how would I be if people were filming me or, you know, if I were vlogging? So again, to each his own. Shout out to Tracee. Her show is Emmy nominated. So there are people who are loving what she's doing. We'll see if there will be a third season. All her visits were comped, I believe. Obviously, her flight, it was sponsored by Delta. She's just getting all these perks. She's getting interviews on the talk shows. She's able to have IG paid partnerships with TripAdvisor, and it's great for her. I just wish that they would look at the creators, the common folk like, you know, myself, or just other people in those spaces who are still doing reviews, and we are doing our best to give you guys the details so that you can have a successful solo trip. I would like for you to leave your comments, thoughts, and any questions that you have about the show below. Again, it is on Roku. It is streaming currently. I want to give her flowers, just her team. Being able to look at the reviews, the reactions from the public, that is going to make your content better. And I can tell that they've been watching us. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you soon.